hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sarcasticass podcast. I am Sarcasticass himself. And, shit, fuck y'all. We got a beautiful day here in Ohio. Fucking sun shining. It's not too terribly hot out there. We'll get some shit going on here pretty soon, I'm sure, that will get us wishing that we didn't live here. But all the fuckers who live out where it's really hot, feel bad for you guys. My cousin, he lived in Phoenix, Arizona, right? Says, oh, it's a dry heat. Dude, it's fucking hot. I don't give a shit what you call it. It's fucking hot. But, we're here on Monday, and, I don't know, last week was a hell of a week. Old Bill Cosby thing. Oh, man, fucking Dr. Cosby. You know, first, Penn State, they tried to make it acceptable to diddle little kids. They tried hard, damn it, but they didn't get it done. But Dr. Cosby, now he's made it acceptable to drug and rape women. It's awesome, I guess. Not really. Sounds good to me. But my real question is, you know, how, listening to his deposition from, what was it, 2010, I believe it was, how can you read that shit and hear his own words and not just be completely devastated that this fucking kick-ass American father, TV dad, turned out to be such a piece of shit? And how can you listen to what he's saying about why he gave them pills? Not only that he did, but why? To loosen them up, get them to relax. And then once he felt they were relaxed, he'd make his move. Just got to take a deep breath here, man. Because, now, all reports, the jury was going crazy in that room. And if I were in there, I would have been going fucking ape shit too. I'd have been just so damn pissed. Is evidently you had a shitload of fucking people in that room who either, if they're male, they don't give a damn about their wives or their daughters being drugged and raped. Or if they're females, they don't give a shit if someone drugs and rapes them. That's the only conclusion I can come to. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But there have been reports that, you know, jurors crying in there, pacing, just in circles. One juror had said that they had to be moved to a different room because it had been discovered that outside camera crews could see in the windows. So they had to be moved to a smaller room. And he said, like, you couldn't even pace around the table. Like in the larger room, people just had their own personal space and just walking in circles. One juror had gotten so upset he hit the wall and I believe he broke his pinky, screaming at each other, yelling to the point where the bailiffs in the hall think there's a physical fight, so they're going in to make sure everything's okay. It's just unbelievable. And here this morning, well, it come out over the weekend, but this morning I'd seen a little bit more about it. But one of the jurors basically had said that due to what the victim, alleged victim, since there was no conviction, had worn to Dr. Cosby's house that night, that she deserved it because she wore a top showing midriff. Okay, so because she showed her tummy, I mean, of course she wanted to get fucked up, dude. You know? I mean, I don't show my tummy unless I want someone to drug the shit out of me and you know, play with my boobies and maybe give me a little pickle tickle, you know, maybe slide some foreign object into my asshole or something, you know. I want to come though, but, you know, of course, I have no problem with that. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand what those jurors were thinking, but at the same time, you can't get too wrapped up on that shit. You can't dwell on that shit too much. But a big thing is the whole he said, she said thing, which, for fuck's sake, in any situation, everyone can understand a he said, she said situation, right? But then again, taking just a quick sidestep from what I just said about the he said, she said, then again, you go back to Dr. Cosby's fucking deposition shit and what he actually said. It's just crazy. But anyway, you've got a he said, she said thing. One, that's extremely hard no matter what the case is. But then you add on that it's been all these years later. When something traumatic happens, even when something traumatic doesn't happen, but especially when something traumatic happens, I don't at all doubt. I think Dr. Cosby's guilty as fuck. Let me say that. Now I can freely say what I want to say. The mind plays tricks on you after so long, in even in the moment. But I mean, after all this time, you know, you've had all these years and it's torn you apart and it's warped things about you. This has been something that has been a factor in every decision that you've ever made throughout your entire life after the moment that happened. That's powerful shit right there. That's powerful shit. And the mind, it can dwell on it. It can, you know, fester on it. It can, you know, it can shut itself down, then reopen itself. Anything is possible. All sorts of things. And I hate the statute of limitations on rape, but it's understandable to a point. So I've been trying to figure out how we could work this all around, because most states that do have statute is 30 years is the statute limitations on rape. So in cases where, say, it's 20 years later and there was, I'm not going to get into all that. Let me just make it clear cut like this. Okay. The only cases that should not have a statute, like if they're old cases, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly. The only cases that should not be allowed to be tried after so long and all that are ones that are purely based on he said, she said. Now, ones where there's an eyewitness, newly discovered pics or film, video, something like that, DNA, you know, those, yes. But if it's only, if the case comes down to he says it didn't happen and she says it does, then I'm sorry. That's what the statute is for, in a way. And I can completely understand that. Now, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into the statute of limitation on murder and how. I'm just going to say real quick about that. Like, of course there should not be a statute of limitation on murder. I don't think there should be one on rape either, if it can be proven or a case can be made that is beyond he said, she said. So, if there's a case that is old as shit, no matter what it is, and it can be proven or it can be a valid argument made for it, then try that shit, right? But it always killed me how, and no offense to the dead, but there's a statute of limitations on murder, and that person, that victim in that case, is dead. They are never going to feel the pain of life or that moment when they died anymore. And I know the argument back to me about that would be, well, that's the point. They're not alive. Okay, yes, I understand that. But the fact is, they're not alive. And they don't feel anymore. Rape victims, they're alive. That shit affects them every day, every decision they make, and it will for the rest of their life. Yeah. So, thank you, Dr. Cosby, for being a piece of shit, but the victim in this case, I can't remember her name, I apologize, but she's going to retry it, is what she's saying. Kudos to her on that. And Dr. Cosby, though, he's announced that he's going to be doing a series of town halls for free. So, hey, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to come and listen to you tell me how to get away with drugging and assaulting and raping women. Thank you, Dr. Cosby. Because that's what it is. He's going to be doing town halls on how to avoid being accused of sexual assault. That is almost like OJ's biography, or autobiography rather, that he wrote in small letters, "If I did it." In big letters, "This is how I did it." You know, whatever the title of that fucking book was, but that's basically how it was. It was in small letters, "If I did it." And then in big letters, "How I did it." It's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. But so hopefully he says some shit on that tour that will come back to kick the shit out of him, because there was no verdict, yes or no, guilty or innocent. So it can be, and it's looking like it's going to be retried. And so everything he says until then is on the table. Can and will be used against him in a court of law, and I hope he says some shit that just fucking sends his ass away till he fucking rots. And then sticking in the entertainment realm a little bit, and also gonna through this get into great TV dads as well. It's been about a month now. The Roseanne Reboot announcement was made. Next year, Roseanne is going to have an 8-episode reboot. I can't remember what network, but who gives a shit. Great fucking show. Love that show, man. I watch it every fucking night. It's on one of the little point some shit channels here out of Dayton, and just love that fucking show. But when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's cool, and I'm reading through. This was quite a few years ago when she had posted this specific bit about where she saw the rest of the family being at that point in time. And since that was a few years ago, I'm not going to tell you what she had said then, because, most of it, if not all of it, I'm sure will change. But my point is, when I was reading that, it said John Goodman is a part of the cast, and I'm like, whoa, hold the fuck up here for a second. So a lot of you may not remember, and those of you who do remember, I'll do a quick recap though for y'all who don't. If you remember the last couple seasons of Roseanne, it was like they had won the lottery and they were blowing money, and they remodeled the house, they did a bunch of traveling, traveled around the world, around the country, all this shit. And Dan was not around. And because in the storyline, I believe I know at one point he was out west in California helping take care of his mother. And that's when his character had an affair, which was bullshit. Let me just get that out of the way right now so I don't have to come back to it. Dan Connor, he never would have had a fucking affair. He never would have cheated on Rosie, and he never would have fucking done that to his family. But, John Goodman and Roseanne's real life BS at the time, whatever. But it turned out at the end of the final episode, we found out that the last couple seasons were not reality. That they were the writings of Roseanne. Because if you remember further back earlier in the show, she had wanted to write, and Dan and the kids had built up the basement a little bit for her to have a little area to write. So the last couple seasons weren't reality. That was her writing. And what had happened was, well, first of all, this was just fucking weird. So, in the show, Darlene and David were together, and Mark and Becky were together. But we found out that in reality, that Becky and David were together, and Mark and Darlene were together. And Darlene and Mark had the baby. Okay, odd, whatever. I also believe it was, Jackie was gay, but she had written her mother as gay. I don't know. I couldn't remember exactly why, but whatever. And then, but here's the one, the Dan Connor, and how the fuck is John Goodman going to be back in this show? Because she had made it so that Dan had died when he had his heart attack at Darlene's wedding. Okay, no, I had said earlier Becky and Mark. David had the kid. It was Mark and Darlene. Sorry. This is my ride. And so Dan had died when he had his heart attack at Darlene's wedding. Okay? And that was a heartbreaker to hear that, you know, he didn't survive that in reality, and really sucked. And so I'm like, okay, well, Dan's dead, so how the fuck is this going to work? Well, her thing had been, her initial thought in that bit she posted a few years ago was that Dan faked his death. And I'm like, no. Hell no. First of all, let's do the realistic part of it, okay? He was at his pregnant daughter's wedding. He had a heart attack. He went to the hospital. I'm sure his whole family went with him. Somehow he died, but didn't die. And I say that because he died because they would have shown his family his body. They would have, you know, gone in to see him, you know, so they would know that he's dead. Okay, but so he died, you know, but he didn't die. How did he fucking fake his death? Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's completely ridiculous and stupid. But then you get to the real bullshit part, which is Dan fucking Connor faked his death? No. Dude, Dan Connor is one of the greatest family fucking fathers of TV history. That man, he worked his ass off. And his portrayal of that type of character still holds up today. A good fucking hard-working man will do anything to scrape by. Yeah, he failed with a couple businesses, but he tried. He tried, man. Who the fuck else, you know? Dude, get out of here. He was a good man. He loved his family. He loved his wife. You trying to tell me that Dan fucking Connor, for whatever reason, would fake his death and leave his somewhat newborn son, because they had a son, okay? He would leave his somewhat newborn son, his wife, Rosie. He would not leave Rosie. But then he would leave his daughter. He would let his daughter think that he died on her fucking wedding day. He was talking to her on the bench when he had the heart attack. And he'd really let her think that he fucking died, you know? And his grandchild, that was going to be his first grandchild. He's just going to skip out on that? I'm sorry. I call bullshit on that shit, Roseanne. Fuck no. Whatever. But while on the topic of reboots, I just had to throw this out there because something that bothers me. We have a show. Well, it's everywhere. It's not like it's a show here, but on our channel here, daily they play a show called Hot in Cleveland. It's pretty funny. Betty White, she's amazing. Love her so much. And it's got a good cast, but they blew that show. That could have and should have been the Golden Girls reboot. It really should have. Because Betty White should have been playing Rose. And now she's the senior member of the group. And it just, I don't know. That one annoys me so bad I can't even comprehend anything and keep my mind straight enough to fucking talk about it, so whatever. But I'm gonna close out here today, cause I can't, we're never gonna hear the end of it, dude. This is kind of in a way compared to like Paul Walker, alright, when he blew up in that fucking car crash and shit, right? When I first heard about Paul Walker's death, my very, very first thought was, yes, dude, no more Fast and the Furious shitty fucking movies, dude. I was wrong. I was fucking wrong, man. I was so fucking wrong. I mean, about that they weren't going to make any more Fast and Furious movies. That's what I was wrong about. I wasn't wrong to be excited that there weren't going to be any more, so I thought that was fucking an awesome thought for the moments that it lasted. But anyway, another one that's like that, though, that's coming is this fucking Otto Warmbier, Warmbier, Otto dumb fucking ass, who goes to North Korea, okay? Oh my, for fuck's sake, man. North Korea. Okay? North Korea. A fucking child could tell you that place is a shithole and we don't need to be going there, okay? But whatever. Dude, you're free to travel wherever the fuck you want. Okay? But he chose to go to North Korea, okay? And while he's there, he committed theft. Alright? First and foremost, a thief is a thief no matter what fucking country you're in. Okay? So first of all, he's a thief. Second, he committed theft in another country. I don't give a fuck if it's England, if it's fucking Australia, if it's Canada, if it's a country we're extremely friendly with, you know? You committed theft in another country, you stupid son of a bitch. Okay? And to add to that, and this again goes back to what country it was, what he stole was a fucking political propaganda poster. Are you fucking shitting me? You stupid bastard. Alright, now, a Delaware professor has just been let go and taken shit for saying, she said that he got what he deserved. No, he didn't get what he deserved, okay? He was in another country, and when you do that shit, you gotta pay the price, and you gotta pay by their laws. You know, you cannot have it anywhere in your head that I'm an American, and they're gonna get me out of this, or American laws apply to me here, or no, fuck you. You're not in fucking Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You fucking fucktard Otto. Okay? So, he steals this propaganda poster, and this is the best. His Christian group. Sounds more like hypocristians, the ones that give me a bad fucking name. His Christian group back home tells him to bring back a trophy. Okay? I wonder how they feel right now. I hope you motherfuckers feel like shit, cause, you aided in that fucking kid's everything that he got. Everything that he received, all that treatment, you guys aided him in that. And you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, you should feel disgusted, but you're not. I'm pretty sure you're not. I'm pretty sure you're sitting there asking God, how could he allow this to happen to such a wonderful young man with such a bright fucking future, and blah, 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 because hypocritian motherfuckers don't ever look on themselves, and it's bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. Okay, and now this kid fucking was absolutely treated like shit. He did not deserve no 15-year sentence for that. He didn't deserve any sort of hard labor for that shit. He didn't deserve any beatings or whatever he took, because, I mean, do we know he took some beatings? The treatment that he got, he did not deserve. However, he did get what he was asking for. He didn't deserve that. But by doing what he did, and knowing that it was wrong, he got what he was asking for. No sympathy for stupid. And that'll do it today. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening. Hope you have a good one. Today's Monday. Going to start uploading these here on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. Maybe throw in some other shit in between as fillers. Who knows? We will see what happens. And everybody have yourselves a wonderful day. Please hit subscribe and like, leave comments. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. I don't care. Let's just get it on. Have a great one. Later. Sarcasticass. He's a dick.